Hey, ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich,
And I'm Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
and today we are actually bringing you guys first of all, premiere, first time this is ever happening. This is Steel Division Normandy 44. We have a one-on-one tournament that just finished up a few seconds ago. Going to give you a quick rundown on how this goes. This, again, is the first tournament we've ever had with this. We're going to be playing, first of all, on Carpet Duelists in terms of the map.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've already mentioned, this is a 1v1 tournament. We've had players going back and forth. It had been an Axis and Allies kind of matchup. Originally in the rounds of 32 going down until the finals, it was just best of ones with the loser picking the map. But here we have a couple of very good players, and I'm going to let Rangru tell you all about them. So Rangru, who do we have?
Well, on the right-hand side, playing as the Allies, we have Fussel as the 15th Scottish Infantry Division. And on the left-hand side, playing as the Axis, we have Bable Gun. I believe as I say, he's playing as the Trove Roffen SS.
Indeed, that sounds correct. So, we've seen these guys before, but how are we going to be expecting these kind of divisions to play off each other? I mean, Carpet is a rather open-up map. What should we be expecting?
So we got the Scots, which are pretty, well, both sides are pretty weak in A phase, but counter each other rather well. The Firefly from Babblegun's going to have an absolutely lovely time, because as you can see, the middle of the map is completely open. But once we get more into the B phase, Fussel should be able to start getting some bloody 17-pounder guns to help deal with enemy tanks, but also Babblegun does have the machine gun advantage, as powder grenadiers can pretty much out-machine gun Bren groups and rifles. What I'm finding rather funny is Fussel was actually just in another 1v1 tournament literally yesterday, and he managed to win that run, so I'm having high hopes for him. He was rather defensive in that tournament, and he's playing a rather defensive deck, so I'm going to see if he's going to be doing the same strategies or not. Well, Babagun, we've seen before doing 101st, very aggressive, and I hope he goes aggressive in this early phase, try to break through Fussel's defensive line.
Well, and that's something we definitely have to watch out for. I mean, if you look over to Fusel's troops, he of course has an AVRE that in a recent game between at least you and I,
Yep.
that AVRE was absolutely devastating. And I'm not sure if Babblegun's Boy to Cromwell is going to be able to be up to that particular challenge. What are you thinking?
Well, the Avra is a very popular choice that I'm seeing a lot for just bringing out immediately for the 15th Scotch, because it's a tanky tank. It's very hard to kill. At the same time, it can't project range. It only has 600 meters with, like you call it, the trash bucket that it shoots. But Bubblegun does have the Firefly available in his deck. If he sees the Avra, I'm sure he's going to try and save up by the Firefly to knock it out, because that is one of the major threats that the Scots can bring up during the A phase.
Now, okay, so one other thing I do want to get into before this map gets started, you can kind of tell between the way that the arterials kind of move forward to the front lines, that it seems like the Allies have themselves a bit of an advantage. How do you feel about that? Actually, as we get started, let's actually talk about it. So what do we have?
So for the Allies, I'm looking right now, it seems like Mr. Fussel sending a lot of his stuff up top to try and get out factory area, and just guys into the airplane hangars as a rather good defensive position. And if you look from Bubblegun and his locations, once again sending a lot of his stuff up top, so that's probably where the main majority of the fighting will be going. But it's a crazy map, just how bloody open it is. That's great because it's a bit easier to gain map controls. You're not fighting in dense forests, but it can be rather hard to defend if you start getting pushed back heavily and you don't have the long-range anti-tank weaponry.
And that's more than fair. And I think what I was trying to get at a little bit before is that we've talked about how the British infantry is a little bit less stellar than your earlier Axis infantry. But at the same time, we are seeing a lot
Yep.
of Scots coming out onto the map. So do you think that Carpet is going to play well with forces with the numbers, or would you say it's going to play better with the quality?
Well, I think it's going to play better with the numbers. I've seen Fussel before in the previous 1v1 NASCLAP tournament, and he managed to be a Troph SS dude just by being able to out-rifle and out-Bren gun group the enemy, because you can get 3.5 Bren guns for 1 Panzer Grenadier.
Ooh, and trucks are going down already on the
Oof.
northern side of the map. One truck is already completely taken out. Bren Group, in the meantime, is going to come under fire from a Pack 38 as well as some spot troops hanging out in those hangars. So I guess first blood over to the 12th
Hmm.
SS.
And he has good defensive position in that town, and he is bringing up the Firefly to hopefully deal with that Avra.
And that's exactly what I was going to ask you too. I mean, looking at how aggressively the Scots were posturing, do you think that was a little bit of an overreach, or do you think that was kind of a fair assessment?
A little bit of an overreach. I think he should have unloaded his infantry a little bit beforehand. He only lost the Bren group, which isn't all that much, but if he waited a little bit longer, that Avra could have been on the front line to help with the push. And here it is. And I'm kind of worried because that pack gun could just barely penetrate it at. No, it could easily penetrate it at that range, really.
But Trash Bucket goes on out,
Oh,
and that thing gets taken out. So,
yep. Never mind.
I'd say.
But at this range, Yavra's going to give great fire support. See, the Panzer Grenadiers and Riflery are already pulling back because you don't want to be in the range of that gun. But here comes that Firefly and Cromwell duo. And I think the Firefly, if it gets a good shot, that Avra's buggered.
That sounds more than fair. At the same time, we are going to see it's 51 to 49 in favor of the Scots. And we'll take a look in the southern part of the field in just a second, seeing the command carrier going on down. But the AVRE is beginning to troop forwards. Are you now? I'm a German guy at heart. I won't lie.
Yep.
But I'm a little bit concerned here, and I have to say, but the 6 pounder moving up in support. Do you think this is going to be an able to screen the advance for the AVRE, or how do you feel?
Yeah, it is a highly vetted run, and it's already taken fire on the Cromwell, but the Cromwell, I think, will be able to maybe kill it. I mean, yeah, the 6 pounder's pinned down, but I saw what he was trying to do, yeah, and that was a smart thing instead of trying to move his Avra in front, but like AT guns, you can't exactly use them great in the offensive role.
Now, we are going to continue to see infantry pouring on into the northern side. I see 2 more Bedfords actually sliding in with infantry with very aggressive selections in terms of positions. Now, for my part, I'm not entirely sure I am as, what's the term I'm looking for here, anticipatory of victory? Do you think that maybe Fussel is a little bit too optimistic about this? There we go. Okay, dropping out early. Never mind. Let's not worry about that too much.
Well, he is keeping the Avra behind cover, so he isn't just risking it. And just as long as the Avra is on the field, Mr. Bubblegun isn't really going to be able to make any major movements. But I think it's really going to come down to the B phase play of both sides, because this is when both decks become rather powerful, with Bubblegun being in our Panthers, and Fussel just having actual tanks and planes and artillery to work with.
Indeed. Indeed, it's actually... Oh, 6 pounder does go
Yup.
down. Long-range shot from that Cromwell. Good shooting there.
And that's a good kill because that was on the highly vetted 6 pounders. I can believe you can only get them in packs of 1 or 2, so that's going to be a rather hard loss till B phase.
Now, we are seeing more Pigrans siding on in. Do you think maybe that... not Fussel, I was going to say, Babelgun is sliding around trying to get some little cheeky, maybe Faust play coming in?
Maybe just a little bit. He is moving up his PZ Grens, and yeah, if he can sneak it up into the forest, he can get the kill, but if he misses, that Avra is not going to be a happy chap and will respond in kind.
Indeed. Ooh, another squad of poor Tommies does go on down. Now, one thing that always perplexes me about this particular map is you look at the rest of the map right now, and it's practically static.
Yep.
So why is that? Why is this northern side of the map seeing so much action early on?
Because players like to fight over areas that have cover, and the northern side on the map has the most cover. It's not a lot of cover when you really look at it, but it's much better than attacking an open airfield. And
okay, 2 things real quick. First things first, we are going to see a Spitfires coming on out, pinning down those Pigrans just as they were about to get a good shot off on the AVRE. Add in the fact, too, we saw a 250 half-track getting taken on out, and actually more air power coming in. Jeez, is this just another Spitfire? Coming again after this infantry, but...
almost killing the 222, yeah, of the Avra, but I see that Spitfires is... bloody hell, 2 Spitfires.
And you know what? I'm not too sure I really like this particular play. I mean, of course, a Spitfire is more or less decently armed for the initial phases, but looking at that, it's not going to do anything besides even annoying the Firefly.
Yeah, it's not going to do much against the infantry, and as you see, the Firefly, it's pretty pathetic. But it's just some extra fire support just to try to keep Mr. Bubblegun at bay for a little bit. And it's stopping that infantry from moving up, which is a major thing.
Oh, wait, that Pigrand is no longer stressed. This could be a devastating move.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a 50-50 just because how stressed out still the PC Grunt is. It's probably going to reach halfway as it pops through the forest. But
Wait, okay, he's coming up. Oh, and immediately gets oh my gosh, that's unlucky right there.
Yeah, it's very unlucky, but I'm really amazed with Fussel. He's been extremely conservative with his Avra. He has a few areas or a few times before where he could have lost it, but just great micro, using that little forest to such a great advantage.
Now, we are seeing a Honey Stewart coming on in. Now, why is that? He's got the AVRE up north. What could he possibly want this light tank for?
Probably because it's his only anti-tank weaponry that he can get for the rest of A phase, to be honest.
Well, if we're not talking about the Death Star, of course, but yes.
Yeah. It's just... Death Star?
Oh, yes, the AVRE will always be the Death Star to me.
It's the size of a moon, and I guess it can blow up Order with it. 290.
Hey, a 30 HE is incredible. It's
yeah,
just
that's
incredible.
it's pretty incredible. But yeah, like you're saying with the Honey Stewart, it's probably the only proper anti-tank stuff that he can get. It won't be able to fight an open ground engagement, but it could potentially kill the light fire support vehicles and the Cromwell. The Firefly, it's going to have to flank round, and I highly doubt it's going to be able to do it on this map.
And indeed, every single second that he's not actively engaging that AVRE, we see another light scout car going on down. But it's kind of interesting to me. We are going to see that Bable gun is going to bring on in a Wirbelwind. Not a common thing seen in the first phase. Do you think that's just a representation, well, a response to Fussel's consistent...
Yep, definitely
air?
a response. You can only get the Wirbelwind in one pack of run during A phase, so it's a rather risky maneuver, but I think for the price, and even as not just an anti-aircraft unit, but as you can see, a fire support unit, it's bloody fantastic, and more autocannons the better.
Indeed, indeed. So we actually are going to see, if you're not sure you saw in the meantime, let's take a quick look down to the south. Of course, we're just going to see continuation, I think, up here in the north of the AVRE just dominating.
Yeah, it's just
more than likely
holding his ground and just denying that Firefly and a long-range open ground kill. Just as long as it keeps doing that, Yavra's going to be an absolute brick wall.
However, we are seeing Pack 38 sidling on in, and I think he's going to try to use the Firefly to flush him out into an anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
Not entirely sure how I do like that particular strategy, though. How are you feeling about that there?
Well, having the pack gun in the right position will definitely help. As the Yavra is slowly moving back, and I just barely have range, but he needs to separate his fly and pack gun before he can really get a kill.
Actually, what's fascinating right now, you want to take a look about how he's targeting it. So that Pack 38 is going to come into range any second now.
Oh, yep.
And that Firefly coming up as well, so I think we actually might be seeing an unmasking in favor of the Germans here. But what's the AVRE shooting? Oh, wow.
Oh, damn.
Yep,
there goes the pack gun. And I think Bubblegun's going to commit his Firefly. Yeah, Honey Stewart is nearby. I don't exactly give it good chances of killing the Firefly. And that Bubblegun is going to be falling back.
Now, taking a quick look at the other part of the field, you see down to the south, the Germans are making some very tentative advances across the airstrips. But I imagine this is going to get shut down pretty darn quickly the second that there's any sort of actual machine gun fire, any sort of like any heavier automatic weapons in the area.
Yeah, but it's just some extra map control, and as you can see, Bubblegun is at the plus 1 point advantage, which all he really needs, because he needs to catch up to Fussel. Oh,
now, it's worth noting in the meantime, we are going to see a Spitfire coming on in for a ground attack.
We are in B phase, by the way.
Indeed. So what are we going to be expecting out of this here?
Well, Babagan can start bringing out the Panthers, and as you see, bring out his first plane, an ME-109 G6R6, but against
he actually takes out the Spitfire before he even gets the bombs off, so I would call that a great victory right there.
Yeah, it's definitely a worthwhile kill, but is he going to be able to get it back to base? He does have the Wirbelwind helping.
And that was exactly what I was going to make the comment about here, is that the Wirbelwind puts up an incredible... Oh my gosh, the AVRE goes down!
Whoa, there we go.
Faust from the P-Grants from close range, he finally gets vengeance for all of his dead vehicles.
And Fussel going to be keeping his Honey Stewart up just behind cover. And as you can see, if you just look more towards Fussel line on the map, you can see at 250/9 doing a little bit of an autocannon rush.
Indeed. Indeed. So you said, yes, more Panthers coming on for the Germans. How about the 15th Scots, though? How are the Scots going to be feeling about this?
Well, Fussel can finally get some 17-pounders, which is exactly what he needs to deal with the Firefly. And 17-pounders on this map are just going to be lovely, as there's
Quick,
a lot of open
quick little
ground.
cut, and we are going to see a 250 half track does wave the white flag right in the middle of those hangars there. Maybe an ill-advised pressuring, moving on in. Actually, we're going to see Wolverine coming in just to the northwest of that as well.
Yep, it's going to be a good counter to the Firefly. So, as you can see, in a lot more longer range weaponry being brought up to take advantage of just the map size.
Fair enough. Now, okay, so you say that the German air power can come on out, but will that be enough to kind of reverse the gains already made by the Allies in the air, or?
Nah, it's just going to be defensive. You don't get that many aircraft options for Bubble Gun, for Trophy SS. And if I was him, I'd probably have a lot of interceptors compared to bombers.
Now, I don't want to be too happy about this because we have seen a rather cursed existence for this unit, but Michael Wittmann has just hit the field.
It wouldn't be a Trophy SS match without bringing out the Wittmann.
Exactly. The question, though, is how long will he survive? I'm willing to take bets right now.
Place your bets, boys. Someone's got 20 minutes. We've got 25 minutes over here. 30 minutes. Come on, come on. 2 to 1, 2 to 1, 2 to 1 odds.
So, have an over-under, what, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Yep.
Will he see Phase C, though? Considering that what the Brits have right now, if you had to call it, is he going to see Phase C, or how's that going to work?
The Wolverine can kill it, but it's going to be a little bit of a tough fight. And if he can keep that Firefly alive, that's going to be a lovely companion to the Tiger, because they can both work rather well together, and the Cromwell as well. So he has a really nice little tank force up top. Keeping those A-phase tanks alive is helping him as he's trying to block out British assault down below as they run across the airfield.
And that was something else I was going to bring up, too. We are back to exactly a 50-50 split, and in fact, I think it's going to go advantage over to Fussel here in just a second. But those P-Grants, do you think those guys are pretty much doomed from the start, or was that a good idea that just unfortunately hit a brick wall?
I think it's still a good idea if you can just move them up. If they get shot up and then you fall back, at least you know where the enemy is. And now he is forced Fussel to do his attack, and he's out in the open right before the pick, and you see the Cromwell slowly starting to pick him off.
I was just going to make that comment as well. He's down to only about, what, 30% of his actual HE ammo, so will we see any kind of support equipment coming out soon, or is it just going to be another one of those standard plays when nothing happens like that?
I hope he brings up support equipment. He might not need to, because this Wolverine is gearing up to shoot back. And will it get the kill? Yes, it does. First shot, first kill, and, well, losing the Cromwell isn't too big of a deal. I'd rather lose Cromwell compared to the Firefly, but it's a little bit less infantry support on the field now.
Well, and Wittmann's getting in on the fight now, so P-Guns are pinned down. If the British were a little bit more brave, I imagine we could see a surrender or two. But I think Wittmann is looking for that Honey Stewart, and one shot, one kill.
Yeah, that 6-pounder and the Bren guns are pretty much buggered, but the thing is, Fusselman's made just a nice map gain, and he is at the +1, and it's still very close in terms of points, so really, every points count.
That's true. That's true. So have you had the opportunity to watch any of the games from today? I admit I have not. So
I have not. I've been on a very tight schedule today, so we're casting the finals first.
Exactly. So folks, by the way, we hope this is not the only time we have a tournament with this. Like we said, this is the first tournament for ESL for Steel Division Normandy 44.
Yep.
If you do want to see more of this, let the moderators know. I know they're looking to kind of test the waters.
And hopefully we'll see more tournaments. I mean, next week we got the Pro to Soccer run, so really livening up the Steel Division community, and I don't know about you, but I love a good tournament.
And honestly, you know, and I like casting games with you, so hopefully we get some more of that action. Spitfires to the northern side. Aww. Spitfires to the northern side, dropping bombs out on that Firefly, and actually revealing we have a Jagdpanzer coming out as well. Is that an overcommitment for armored vehicles? I feel like that might be a little bit too much.
I think on this map, it's just a good thing to have a lot of vehicles, because having that open ground engagement is going to help. And as you can see, we got 2 Wolverines there from Fussel, so both sides are committing on the vehicle play. And the Jagdpanzer is going to be a great counter to the Wolverines, as the Wolverines are going to have trouble penetrating it.
And that was the thing. I think. One of them does go on down right there.
Will there be a double Rameo?
No, Honey Stewart goes down. Jeez, so that Jagdpanzer already is paying great dividends.
Can we get a hat trick? Yeah, we got a 17-pounder being brought up, and it is a heavily vetted run. So
I think he's just barely out of range for that, though.
Yeah,
he's looking for that 17-pounder. Ooh, crew knocked out. 8 seconds. I think
And
that's going to be the end of that
yep,
Jagdpanzer, and yep, there it is.
good kill. And as you say, 17-pounders, bloody fantastic. And because he's getting highly vetted AT guns, it does improve usability by quite a bit. I think at 3 stars, that's a 45% fire rate and accuracy increase, so quite a big jump.
Now, I have to admit, you do know the technical aspects, the numbers a little bit better than I do. So, you want to go a little bit further into what you're talking about there?
Well, pretty much every single star, if I recall correctly, gives you a 50% buff in terms of like non-hard statistics like AP weaponry. So buffs in terms of morale, fire rate, accuracy, etc. So having a 3-star unit is a big difference in having a no-star unit. It's night and day, and that's why veterancy, as a lot of players are saying right now, is very important.
We're going to cut in real quick. We are going to see a second ME-109 in about the last 90 seconds or so going down to see the firewall from the last one. And I can't help but wonder, while the Axis has themselves pushed into a 51-49, is that going to get reversed? We're creeping ever closer to Phase C, so I'm a little bit concerned right now for the Allies.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for Fussel. I mean, the Tiger is starting to move across the open field, and even though it seems a bit silly attacking over in the airfield, if you look on the Allied side, there's not really much here to stop him, and just every single bit of map control will do
Purple
him
Wind
wonders.
goes down.
Oof. But Fussel's starting to make some plays up top. The only thing here to stop him is the Firefly. The Firefly can't kill a 17-pounder, so yeah, unless... Yeah, he's going to be getting up a rasp, it's exactly what he needs to deal with the AT gun. So we're going to see how it goes. We've got a lot of infantry attacking into the town.
Well, it's nothing too. When I look down about the center part of the field, we see one P-Grunt squad somehow completely alone in green fields with the sun on his face.
Yep.
I'm a little confused by that. Shouldn't we be seeing a little bit more kind of stress and surrender happening out right now, or what's the deal? Why is that going on?
Bren guns aren't good. That's really it. You need to have 3 Bren gun groups to really effectively take out Pound Grenadier squad. Yeah, sounds a little bit dumb, but you gotta realize 10 points for Bren gun, 35 points for PZ Gren.
Now, Tiger, the Vitman is coming under fire from that 17-pounder. I think he was creeping on forwards, but wasn't getting much done. Now, what's the 12th SS have in terms of kind of indirect fire to maybe push back this big armored blob in the north?
Well, if you look to the left, you got ourselves a Raspe being brought out.
Indeed.
It's a nice artillery unit, just like an M7 Priest, and if he just starts pounding the 17-pounder, it's pretty much just going to get killed. And it doesn't even have to completely kill it with the Rasp, just enough to stun it up so the Tiger can get the finishing shot.
Now, worth noting in the meantime, just where that 17-pounder is kind of heading on out, we are also going to see a Churchill hitting the field, as well as some more British air power. So where's the Spitfire going? Spitfire's going right back after that boy to Firefly, and it looks like we have some air cover in the meantime.
And
I'm always a little skeptical about the bombs from that Spitfire. Yes, it's going to stress that ever-living producers out of tanks, but it seems so rare that they actually do anything considerable.
To tanks?
Indeed. Yeah.
You're not really going to kill tanks with bombs unless you can get like a plane train out. But that Spitfire is pretty damn good. It's got 2 230-kilogram bombs, which are enough to easily knock out anti-tank weaponry. But just enough to keep the Firefly back so he can move up the Wolverine is all Fussel's going to need. And
indeed, actually, the Wolverine's going to get some good shots in a few seconds here, unless Bable gets just out of the action. He's got a 17-pounder in the meantime, by the way. He is completely taken out, which opens up the middle part of the map for the Axis player.
Yeah, Rasp helping out a lot, and I'm just looking here. Bubblegum could do a flank round on his top-hand force that Fussel has, because all he has is a Wolverine. I mean, his Tiger is a little bit out of range, but if he could move it up, that's going to be a great flank position.
And that was something I was just going to make the comment about, but we are into Phase C, so take us through. What do we have from the combatants here?
Just more of the same, really. It's nothing too crazy from Phase C. As you can see, it's still pretty even point rise throughout the entirety of the map. Only a 10-point difference, but probably some more tanks from Bubblegum, and Fussel's got those Churchills out, which are good fire support, but I think he needs more anti-tank weaponry at this time.
I think I would have to agree with you. We'll check back in on that Churchill in just a second here. Now, did I miss something? The Firefly's gone. What the heck happened to that Firefly?
Maybe it got killed by the Wolverine. That's probably the best bet. It got stunned up by the plane, falled back into the open. Wolverine got the finishing blow.
So sorry about that there, folks.
Yeah.
Missed at least on my side, and maybe apparently
Same
over
here,
on
same here. That's bound to happen
Yikes.
though. As a lot happens in this game, it's very hard to keep track. It's right on the road behind the 223 if you want to see the Firefly carcass. But
Been
that's
223 on the road.
but
Okay.
that's on the northern side. But that's pretty amazing. He kept the Firefly alive for over 20 minutes. I can barely keep it alive for 5, to be honest.
That's why these guys are on the finals. And
That's
not us,
right,
though,
in
isn't
the
it?
finals. Yeah. And Fussel making some very good progress up top. Only thing stopping him is that 223 and the PZ Grens. The rest is not going to be doing enough. We got
Well, and I'm a little bit concerned about this too. I think that flank march that you were talking about here, we might see. In fact, yep, the support truck went down, but the Tiga might be able to get his claws into some prey here.
yeah.
233 does go down, but that P Grant squad is still in the area, and actually 60%. So a +2 coming on out for Babblegun.
Oh, that's just that flank in the middle, as you can see, all outside of the map turning red, and with just very little units, which is the advantage of these larger maps. You can gain more ground of using less amount of units, but we kind of got a bit of a scorpion maneuver flank, if anyone actually knows what it is, because we've got the PZ4 on the left-hand side and the Tiger behind the 4, so if he can use that Tiger to kill the Wolverine and then move in the Panther 4 to finish up the job, the entire northern assault will be stopped.
Let's also take a quick look in terms of vision. Let's go over to Fussel for a second, because he knows that both of those tanks are there.
And that Tiger's really in the open if you just think about it. All Fussel has to do is bring in a 17-pounder behind the Tiger and get an easy kill.
Well, he is coming up with the Wolverine, but that guy is so far back, and I'm not sure he's going to be really part of this engagement too easily here.
Nope. And the Tiger's already moving in. It's gonna be a bit risky bringing it in that close because the Wolverine can pen it. But it's 2 tanks on run with the Panzer IV involved, so hopefully he can make something happen.
Well, let's get a little bit closer to that action here. So the Panzer IV gets in on the fight already, going to start exchanging rounds with that Wolverine, but it's going to give Tiga more than enough time to get out and in there. Okay, no, missing wide, another shot. This is actually kind of tense here.
Yeah, Tiga should be able to get in.
Oh!
Oh, there we go.
That's
there we
the
go.
death.
And
that is what we're looking for, and I think that might be how Fussel's army begins to collapse.
Yeah,
Oh, dear God, I didn't notice in the meantime, actually looks like the Scotch have just destroyed the German southern flank. This Honey Stewart's behind and just completely owning so much territory.
Oh god, that was a good move from the Honey Stewart, and we weren't even paying attention to the southern flank, and so wasn't Bubblegun, and Fussel managed to take advantage of that and just gaining some sweeping territory. Got a Panzer IV being brought out from Bubble to try and plug this up, so hopefully he can take advantage of this and start getting some ground, because he is at the +1 at the moment.
Just shy of that +2, and I imagine, though, we will see the Scotch finished off here in just a few seconds, so I think he's not. I don't think he's going to get that 57%. That 58%. I'm going to say 57 for a second, and indeed he's starting to drop away as we speak. I almost actually expect this infantry to surrender.
In the northern flank?
I'm thinking so. We do have the cutoff right now alone.
Yep.
And I don't see any chance for them really kind of getting that last little bit of support.
Yeah. And if he manages to cut them off, or do you see the Tiger taking the front lines, holding the ground, and Pandagrande's moving up, and I don't really see Fussel making a big assault up north. It's really just going to come down to your southern flank.
So he is going another bomb run here, so he's just gonna... Ooh, and you know what? Michael usually just bends, like, immediately, but he's brave today.
Yeah, he's a little bit panicked, but he's just going to be falling back a little bit. It's still in a rather safe location. And just see his Furball up top. The Messerschmitt's going at Spitfire, gets the kill, but the Spitfire kills the Messerschmitt, and another Messerschmitt goes down. So it's not looking good for Bubblegun in terms of air superiority.
I was actually going to ask you that, but only this. I'm pretty sure we've seen 3 or 4 ground attack Spitfires going down.
But we've also seen like 3 or 4 Messerschmitt 109s go down, so I highly doubt that Bubblegun has the airplanes anymore.
I think the Tiga's going to buy it. Wolverine's got him falling back. Oh, no, never mind. Weapon damaged. Oh, that's hard.
Yes, clutch.
That is harsh right there. I thought he was going to get taken on out immediately.
Yeah, oh my word. Yeah, it was... And that's going to give Mr. Rittman enough time to fall back and survive, as that Wolverine's going to have to wait for a resupply truck. But I was not expecting that, because he was at such high morale damage.
Exactly. I was pretty stunned by that myself. Allies are going to +2 right now, 58 to 42.
Mm-hmm.
I think on the back of these Churchills. So once again, good old Winston saving the Scots.
Yeah, and it's just the Churchills Mark V. They're great fire support. They're like that bloody Cromwell from before, but it's
Hmm.
slower. But the main thing is that they have crap anti-tank. They're crap against tanks. Only 9 frontal armor. So all it requires is one of these Panzer IVs to come on down to kill both of these Churchies.
And that's what we're seeing happening right about now is that the P4s are sidling in from both north and south. This southern one, I don't know really what he's going after. Looks like he's just starting hunting varmints.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's going after infantry. I'm not sure I really agree with that particular play, though.
well, it's just trying to keep them at bay. I mean, we've got the 6-pounder there from Fussel on hold fire. I'm guessing he's waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike at the PZ4. But I agree with you. I feel like Mr. Bubblegum does need some more fire support or infantry to support his Panzer IV on the southern flank. Oh,
Who
the Tiger!
killed?
What the fuck? Was that...
You know what? This is definitely a kid's channel, but I definitely agree with you. I have what just happened there.
Was that the... That had to be the Wolverine. That had to be the Wolverine.
You know, the
I know
Wolverine has fired 2 rounds. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's definitely it. But okay, I immediately thought the Spitfire killed it, but we can confirm after the match. But Jesus, that's a rather big
Yes,
loss.
I'm happy you were stunned by that too, because I also saw the Spitfire coming on, and I was like, ricochets? Really? No, that's not going to happen. Not a chance in hell. We did just see one of the Churchills going on down, by the way. P4 is still trooping on in, and I think he's going to have a great shot at this other Churchill. Oh, just barely missing to this side. And in fact, the Churchill's trying to take out his Tormentor here.
It's not looking good for the Churchill. As you say, just
Like,
one tank comes up, it's buggered.
and there it goes. And there it goes. So we have 2 Wolverines left and still on the field, probably able to salvage a situation.
It's pretty even all around because we're getting good trades back and forth. Fussel lost all his Churchills, Bubblegum lost his Tiger, so it's very back and forth. Both sides pretty much giving it all in this first match.
Now, one thing I don't particularly like about the play so far from Babelgun, and we will see a Panther foot coming up from the northern flank, is that we haven't really seen that much investment in infantry. Now, we haven't looked at the southern side of the map very much of this particular game, but it seems to have been very, very intent.
Yeah,
The armored deck.
yeah, he's really taken advantage, I have to say, with using the armor because this is more of an open ground map. But I know what you mean. Having just 1 or 2 infantry units, even recon, just a screen in front of these assault, would help out a little bit. And
One P4 goes down courtesy of the first Wolverine. He's got a Humber right behind him as well. And the shooter's been knocked out in the other one, and this is probably not going to go particularly well.
Nope.
6-pounder has him in perfect position.
Oh, will they get the kill? Oh, this is rather
It's
tight.
it's a race here, and I think you're right. I think he's going to be a 6-pounder unless this P4 gets lucky.
Oh!
Never mind.
Artillery comes
Rest.
in right at the end.
Ay, ay, ay.
But here comes the Spitfires going in, and Fussel was really liking his Spitfires for ground attack role. They're not killing anything, but just the morale damage is more than enough.
Exactly. Actually, we're coming up to almost the end of this first round here. I have to admit, I'm a little bit confused. Do you really think the Axis position is irrecoverable? Or is it just a panic kind of call, perhaps?
Well, he did lose a lot of his Panzer, well, he lost the Panzer IV and the Tiger, and I think really Fussel salvaging this southern flank and just keeping on the aggression has pretty much saved him this match, because he was taking a heavy beating up top.
That's fair. I mean, 55-45, he is up over 140 tickets now. And it looks like these Pioneers are going to get completely savaged. So much death. Whoa!
Yeah.
And 17-pounder taking out the other P4. And yeah, you know what? Yeah. What could Babelgun have done differently on this one? Because I kind of feel like he was doing really, really great for the first 25 minutes. And just crumbled like a bad flan.
I think just losing that southern flank did not do him any helps. Also, the Tiger was the main thing holding the northern side, and as you can see, he lost it. Hardly any ground's been taken, and Fussel's already starting to push in. But I think Fussel just... I think for Bubblegum, he should have maybe had a bit more defense in the southern sector. He had a Panzer IV, and Panzer IVs are pretty alright, but in this map, they're not that great, because those Wolverines and the 3-Sword Challengers, 17-pounders, can outrange them. So the Panzer IV does have difficulties in open ground engagements.
But okay, now I honestly I can say I haven't watched this now before, but it looks like we're gonna have a surrender from somebody in the next few seconds here. Now,
Yep.
if that is Battlegun, what's that gonna mean moving into the next map? Player-wise, for example. So will Battlegun be picking up allies then? At that point, he picks the map, isn't that correct?
Yeah, Babagun does end up picking the map because loser picks the
Oh,
map.
geez, 17-pounder kills that
Yep.
Panther. Didn't even get a chance to get his claws wet at all. Wow.
But yeah, I kind of forgot to be honest, but he should be the one picking which Axes or allies he wants to play because this is an Axes versus allies tournament. I know there's a little bit of talk about doing mirror matches up next time, but we'll have to see.
And again, you'll get that, folks. Wow, engine being destroyed. Yeah, I think we're
Yep.
definitely going to see an Axis tap out in just a few seconds here.
Mhm.
So, any kind of final thoughts as we're watching this close? What could have been the major takeaway here from either side?
Uh, I think both sides could use artillery a little bit more. As you see, Bubblegum had just one resp, but that
Hmm.
one resp helped out tons knockouts. 17 pounders, stunning up tanks, stunning up infantry. So just it's a very open range map, and you just have to use those long range units.
Okay,
Also,
I'm looking right now, by the way, looking to find who killed Tiger Wittman, and yes, it was a Wolverine under the command of Apple. So an apple, an
mhm,
apple a day definitely does keep the tigers away. I don't know about doctors on this one.
mhm,
Let's take a quick look at the ending kind of stats here. So
sure.
minor victory over here for Fussel. He won by just a few hundred points. But the tail of the tape is a little more telling. 3,000 kills to 2,100. I'm surprised it was that severe a
I
difference.
think it also because more towards the end, losing the Panther, and once you get to like an end of match, you know you're gonna lose. You do just play a little bit more crap. I do that too. Everyone does that. So I think a lot of those kills were padded towards the end.
That's fair. Taking a quick look over at the kills themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, the AVRE from the British side of things. Oh, Scotch, excuse me. The United Kingdom troops.
Yep.
Marking up himself a good 5 kills. And Wolverine doing very similar work right
Mm-hmm.
there.
I see. So's Yavra, just a great tank unit, and he used it fantastically in the A phase to really stop Mr. Bubblegum from taking too much ground. And that is a lot of good kills. It's nothing really too crazy all around. Well, Tiger Ripman knocked out quite a bit of stuff, but a lot of it is like command carriers and
Well, you
ring
know,
groups.
he's an all-star. He's got to be able
Yeah.
to do something like that. So.
hmm But I think that pretty much wraps up for match number one.
I was gonna say, folks, stick around. We're gonna go through literally just a fade through black, at least for me. I don't know about
So
Rangu,
I'll be
but
doing the same thing.
I was gonna say stick around for game two, guys. So we'll see you in just a second. Hang around. Hey, folks, and welcome on back to the stars-studded one-on-one tournament over here for Steel Division Normandy 44. We are in game two right now. Now, Rangu, tell us about the map.
So we are on Column Belaires, and this is, well, a favourite during the, well, open beta, and it's pretty easy to explain. On the right hand side, we got a river and kind of like a small choke point area. In the middle, we got the famed factory, which provides a lot of CQC fights, and on the left hand side, more open ground or a few forests and trees to hide behind. And it's a very standard map. You kind of got a little bit of everything going on all flanks.
No, I'm happy you brought that up. Now, guys, we do want to make a small apology. We were a little bit confused in the rules. It was definitely up in the air the last several days here. But we can safely say now that once again we are going to have Fussel over here as the 15 Scotch, and Babblegun is still going to be as that 12th SS
hmm
Panzer Division. So it turns out the rules themselves said that players had to stay with the same battle group and the same faction.
But you
However,
could. Oh,
yes,
sorry,
go
you're
for
gonna
it.
go. But you could edit the battle group in between matches. So if you want to change up your unit composition to match up for the map, you'll feel free to do that. Which I'm guessing both players did because there's certain units you want to bring on certain maps and certain units that you don't.
Exactly. So what kind of units we want to see on this map? You mentioned a lot of CQC opportunity. Do you think?
Avra would be king
Yes.
in the factory. Holy crap. He could do the same thing as before, but he has much more maneuvering for Avra. It's not just one forest he has to hide behind, he has all these towns and factories. And I'm thinking the Panzerfaust can't penetrate the Avra frontally. I think there's a chance it could bounce, but I'm not entirely sure. It is a rather heavily armored unit. And those Panthers and Wolverines, those longer range tanks, I think I have a little bit of a tougher time because there's not as many longer range engagements, and the Panzer IVs should have a little bit of an easier time as well.
Now, quick question moving forward. So you're saying the AVRE is going to be the king on this map, and it's kind of hard to disagree with you. I mean, looking
Mm-hmm.
at all these shot blockers, at the same time, then why is he in the southern side of the
Huh,
Scotch deployment?
I saw on the southern side it could actually do a rather good job because you do have those forests, that whole middle forest area. If the fighting starts there, it's all rather close range, and Avra has a lot of tree lines to sneak in and out of. I'm guessing that Fussel wants to use his Avra in the open ground to try to just keep it as a tanky tank. The main problem that I have with moving it in that southern area is a Firefly could once again try and knock it out. And even if it doesn't kill the Avra, it's gonna be stopping Mr. Fussel from moving up.
But we are getting started right about now, so Boyd Cromwell is on the map. Taking a look at the initial breakout, we are going to see that the AVRE
Yep.
is taking a rather, like you said, a conservative position. He's in the crook of that field, that little wheat field down to the southern side.
Mm-hmm.
And I dare say it's going to be advantage again to the Scotch. What are you thinking?
Yeah, you can just infantry spam more on the ES map. Because if you get enough Bren groups, you can pretty much break through the Panzer Grenadiers. I'm thinking for Bubblegun, it's going to become more down to autocannon play, because you can make good use of autocannon units on this map, as you can see right now for 222.
I was going to say that 222 is already getting into the action here. Now, if I'm going to continue to call them the Brits, if the Scots make it into that factory complex, how hard is it going to be for the SS to kind of dig them out? Ooh, crew killed in the meantime. Sorry. Command carrier down at the southern side. He's going to go down immediately. We have a Pack 38. Another one goes down.
Damn, good kills.
And the boy to Cromwell is already chalking up some good kills, I think, in support of that Pack 38.
I'm thinking Fussel really sort of moved his units along the northern side of the forest instead of going down the road. Because as you can see, he's taking some heavy hits. Yavra's not going to KO because it's an Avra.
That's true, but at the same time, closer and closer you do get to these particular units, the more damage they can potentially do to you. Maybe not the boy to Cromwell.
The pack can penetrate it, I believe. It can barely penetrate at 500 meters, so if it wants to get the kill, it's going to have to get a little bit closer, and by that time, Yavro can...
And that was something I was going to make a quick comment to over to our viewers. So guys, remember, even though your AT or even tanks may not be able to immediately counteract the armor, for every 100 meters closer that you are to the enemy, your armor pen value goes up by 1. So that's something that Rangu was just talking about there.
And if you have 15 AP versus 15 armor, it cancels each other out, but you have a 2% chance of penetrating. After it goes like 8 and then 16 and so on and so forth.
Indeed, but it does look like the AVRE is not even going to get a shot off.
Nope.
But dear God, they're lofting rounds like crazy at that thing down there.
He just does not care. Well, he does care a little bit because I guess he's fallen back, but he's not going to be able to make good use of the Avra. I do think it would have been a better choice on the northern flank.
I think I'd have to agree with you there. Taking a look up at the northern flank, we are going to see, like I said, a lot of those jolly old UKers inside that factory complex, but a rather conservative breakout to the northern side of that river. And I have to say I'm a little bit confused by that. Do you want to, how about we slide over to Fussel's view for just a second here?
With the Bren groups on north?
Yes, I mean, he would, in my mind anyway, as the ally side of things, I should be able to, if I'm seeing the front line being as pushed as far as it is, wouldn't I want to be a little more aggressive?
I guess he would, but also at the same time, he doesn't have really much fire support, and that's the one problem with the Brits. He gets command carriers, but they're not the greatest fire support vehicle. Has no honey turret or AT gun, so if he was to move up the Bren groups, and if there's, let's say, a support gun, half-track, he can't do anything about it, so I think just keeping it back for defense would probably be the best thing in his view, but as you can see in the all-view map, there's only an AT gun on the Panzer Grenadier squad stopping him.
Actually, one thing I was going to make a comment about, you do see that Pack 38 just to the south of the river in the north. Honey Stewart coming on in as well, and interestingly, I can't help but feel that Babelgun badly placed his anti-tank gun. How do you feel?
Yeah, that's not the greatest location. If you look at the edge, yeah, you can cover down the road and you can cover on the left-hand side. But he also doesn't have any AT Rapidry in the middle, and he's going to want that soon because that Honey Turret, seen knocking out 222, and just that one Honey Turret's going to give just enough fire support for Fussel to try and break through and capture the factory.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, AVRE is finally done being freaked out. Honey Stewart moving in as well. But that Boy to Cromwell is starting to lead the charge, and I don't think there's a lot the Brits are going to be able to do to deflect him, at least until that rifle leader gets a very lucky shot with...
Yeah.
In the meantime, Boy to Firefly is down in the southern part of the map. You want to take where he's going. He's actually taking a very, very aggressive and advanced position here.
And just holding in that area, it's going to be great for a Firefly because he can stop out Avro or any other tanks moving along the southern flank. And he is getting closer. That Avro is still out in the open. I think it's going to be a little bit more before it actually gets behind the tree lines where it won't be spotted. So maybe a Firefly can get a shot or two. And oh god, the pack could get a side shot.
Exactly, and that's what I was just taking a look at right now, just to take a look at viewpoint. Spalling shooter wounded, 30 seconds. That is a devastating kind of, call it critical to take.
Yeah, and the Firefly may be able to get the kill. The thing is...
Driver knocked out? Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's not good. That's not good. I mean, at that range, I'm just looking... Yeah, he can penetrate the average of, like, over 10% roughly, so it's not too bad, but... As long as it keeps it pinned down, and there we go.
Too late. There it goes. So the Honey Stewarts now are the last, I would say, immediate hope.
Yep.
For the Brits, at least here in Phase A. Now, okay, so strategize with me for a second. You're Fussel. What do? We are 50-50. Just lost to AVRE. You know there's a lot of heavy tanks in the south. What do you do?
Well, I would get a 6-pounder. The problem is that Cromwell can easily kill a 6-pounder because it can outrange it. Yeah, he's using a Honey Stewart, and it's managed to get a nice little flanking shot, but
unfortunately it blows up in 3 seconds like a Zippo loader.
I was about to say the Honeys could have maybe moved around and try to use the forest and flanks to advantage, but it's really not looking good. We've got a 6-pounder here from Fussel. Hopefully he could sneakily use it and only fire when he's in range of the Cromwell, because knocking out the Cromwell with the 6-pounder is going to be more important than killing a Firefly.
True. Fuel explosion already. Okay, so barely that 6-pounder does get out, but his attendant vehicle has been completely owned.
Yeah, and that Cromwell's just going to easily eat it up. So it's a great push from Babagun, taking advantage of the long-range advantage that he has with his vehicles, and he can pretty much just reap this during the A phase, as Fussel doesn't really have much to deal with it, unfortunately.
I was going to say his infantry-based AT has just gone down. That Piat squad is probably his last hope for the immediate future here.
Yep, and it's just... we got more Panzer Grenadiers filling in the gap, and they're just pushing on through. So, if I was Babagun, I'd just keep on pushing. Just try to take as much ground as I could in these 2 minutes. Not
to derail it, but interestingly enough, we are going to see a Panzer II coming out up to the northern side. In fact, taking a very... Not even an insanely conservative position. Interesting decision. Misplay. How do you feel?
I always like seeing the Panzer II because it's a pretty cute tank. Can you agree with me, Khan? It's a pretty cute looking tank.
True. I was actually going to make the same thing. I was like, if you hate on it, so help me God, we're gonna have a problem.
But I'm guessing he's using it for fire support. It could actually kill that Honey Stewart if it gets close. It's a rather close range engagement, but I think he's gonna need a bit more infantry and. Well, he can't really get any other anti-tank stuff to deal with that Stewart set for an AT gun, but that wouldn't be...
Half-track going down just in the middle of that factory complex, but a Pack 38 forcing back a Honey Stewart as well, and
oh, don't move that Panda 2 anymore.
Please don't. Keep him alive. He's a good boy.
He's Russian. Whoa! Never mind. The Panda 2 can do.
Sorry, flashback for guys and dolls for a second there. I'm sorry. But fantastic. So that autocannon proving devastating at close range at Aufklärer, giving just enough sight on that one.
I'm not too knowledgeable on how fast autocannons can actually acquire a target, but as you can see, the Panzer II just immediately got the shot as it came around the corner. So good job. And it wasn't even vetted. It's just a regular Panzer II.
Exactly. Every now and Honey Stewart to the southern side. I forget the joke I was going to make. Honey Stewart's now gone, and only thing that's left down here that's even remotely motorized is this rinky-dink little MMG carrier.
Yeah, and
6-pounders falling back as well.
Yeah, that 6 pound is already getting shot at, so really, Fussel, he's just going to have to wait another 55 seconds before he can do anything meaningful.
And that's what I was going to make a comment about as well, is that we are going over into Phase B soon enough, but is this position unsalvageable?
I think it's salvageable. If he can get a 17 pounder in that square forest at the southern eastern side of his spawn, and try to lure the Firefly up and knock it out, yeah, he should be able to start moving up, because in B phase he gets Wolverines, he gets more infantry, you start getting some more planes, and that's what he needs to use, those combined arms forces, to try and knock out the Cromwell and Firefly.
You know, and I was going to make a comment just now about them not seeing any Spitfires. Of course, we did just see a gun run up in the northern side. Would those air tactics have been a little bit more worthwhile being used sooner, or is it just bad luck at this point?
I think it could have been, those Spitfires actually could have been pretty useful during the A phase. Of course, they can't kill the tanks, but just stopping them, delaying them, so Fussel can get to B would just be more than enough, and we are in B phase at the moment.
Now, one thing we haven't really talked about in terms of economy, you said that these guys, match up decently well in terms of economy as well as terms of overall force composition. Now, this, let's see, I'm not going to call it slight advantage, but a greater relative advantage coming on out for Babel Gun, is that going to pay dividends a lot more in Phase B by comparison, or is it just sort of like, not that much?
I think it's not going to be that much, because even though he can get Panthers and whatnot, Fussel can get 17 pounders, Wolverines, and planes, or much more planes, to help deal with it. And I think this map as well, it's much easier to deal with those tanks, as you have more forests and cover to use.
Quick note, by the way, 6 pounder going on down, and the entire Scotch position is wow.
Yep,
it's almost as poor as some of their cuisine. I'm sorry,
I have you know, a Scotch egg is one of the greatest things you can eat. I'm not even joking. I bloody love a good Scotch egg.
All right. I can't imagine I even know what that is. But ooh, another down as well. So Spa Troop not going to take territory, but actually, I think we're going to see a reinforcement point getting captured, and that would be just stunning for me, especially on this kind of level play.
Yeah, that's real hard push from Babagun, and like I said, he pushed hard and he did a damn good job. And if he can start pushing north, he can encircle that factory position, and it's all open ground up north. So that's going to be a great movement area for the Firefly. What I'm finding interesting is Fussel's not really getting anything down south. He's spending all his money up north with Churchill's, so I think he's pretty much just given up on this southern sector, and I think that's going to bite him in the arse, quite literally, because those tanks are still there, and they're still going to be moving up.
Man, Churchill coming on in, but okay, so at least he's bringing some AT up to the north. But at the same time, I might be too late, won't it?
Yeah, even though if he could break through on the northern hand side, by the time he breaks through, Mr. Bubblegun's going to be able to break through into Fussel's spawn, as he's already doing so.
Actually, I was going to say, in 3, 2, 1, we're going to find ourselves losing a reinforcement point, I think.
Yeah, it's a bit wonky. Like, he can still spawn stuff, yeah, but it's really weird once you get to the enemy side of the map, because sometimes you knock out the reinforcement points, sometimes they still have map control. It's a bit weird, but he pretty much got a checkmate, yeah. Or king me, goddammit. I know how to play Connect 4.
Ah, okay. Alright. Gotcha. I thought you said, like, you know how to play, like, Candy Crush or something like that.
No, it's Monopoly.
That was Catan. Anyway, Triple Churchill's up to the northern side. Looks like that's really the best and last thing that Fussel's really going to be holding on to. Maybe what he's doing down to the south, maybe he's waiting for his opponent to run out of ammunition. You want to take a look at that Boy to Cromwell. He's got under 10 rounds. That Pack 38, he's almost got under 25% rounds there, too. So maybe he's just trying to waste the ammo. It's a Soviet-style attack.
No, I think he's just hoping for a breakthrough up north and really throwing all his chips in the bag, yeah. Not going to work, because we got a Jagdpanzer being brought out, and that's going to be pretty much a pain in the ass to kill. That Command Churchill cannot even pen it unless it gets rather close.
And I'm happy you called out that Jagdpanzer, because first of all, I have to point out, the commander's name is Gasthaus, which is guest house, so he's definitely really got the red carpet right here.
Yep.
So these Jagdpanzer are coming on in. Like you said, that Churchill is not going to be able to do a whole lot. He's going to take out some recon there.
Mhm.
I take a quick look over at Babblegun's views, though, and yeah, he's going to be able to see that Churchill pretty darn quickly. Fuel explosion. There goes one of them.
Whoa! Did he? Was that a side shot? Yeah, it was a side shot, man. Yeah, it was a side shot. That's not good. Because I was about to say, the fight between the Adpanger and the Churchill, pretty much nothing would happen unless you could side shot it like that.
Is that really fair? I mean, I understand that the armor for the Churchill is pretty beastly, but
It's
I guess I never thought.
it's it's 15 armor for the Churchill, and the Adpanger can only do Trove AP at max range. So,
That is true. That is true. Now, I am a little bit concerned about our friend the Panzer II. He's under fire from that Churchill,
oh no.
and he's got no autocannon ammo as well. Oh, wait, close combat up in the north. Pigred's going up against Braden Group.
Oh, here we
Who's gonna
go.
win out?
Uh, probably the
Oh,
Pigren,
the
if they got
cheating.
a submachine gun. Oh, you gotta turn the gun off. Make a,
A
gentleman's
fair
duel.
fight. Exactly.
jeez.
Exactly. You have to be civilized with this.
Gotta be civilized. But oh, the Adpanger's flanking the Churchill.
Oh, another Wolverine, by the way, going on down. Thank you so much, Boy to Firefly. And yep,
Oh damn.
both Churchills are coming on around, it looks like.
Yeah, wait, Royce, the Adpanzer flanked the Churchill. This is what I'm concerned about.
This is insane. Okay, Brand Group has gone down.
Well,
it's pandemonium down here, folks. I can't
Well,
even give you
it's
an accurate feeling here.
tanks going down. We've got Spitfire dropping in the bombs. That's going to be stunning up the Adpanger just a little bit. And I think it's going to be a good time for Fussel to rip out his Wolverine to try and get the finishing blow.
Now, okay, so Jagdpanzer is facing off towards his Wolverine. So
Churchill
beautiful shot there.
outflanked the Adpanger. What the hell's going on?
I know, but this other Panzer, it's P4 is coming on in, and he's going to get a beautiful shot. Any second here, no weapon damage instead on that Churchill.
Oh.
And I think that's going to be a tap out from
Yeah.
a Fussel here.
And Fussel, it's a +3.
Wow. Wow.
What was going on at the end, Jet? You can't flank a Churchill. You can't do that. You can't. But that's what we saw.
And the tail of tape is even more telling for this one. If the first one was a
God.
little bit wonky, this one's insane. You want to take a look at this?
Yep.
340 kills for the Scotch. Now, meanwhile, 1,215 for the SS. I mean,
It's nothing.
looking at the history, it's a little bit too blue for my liking.
That's just I think using the Avra down below did not do Fussel any favors early on, and just losing that southern side really put a dent in his plans. If he kept that Avra alive, I don't think that attack would have really happened because, like you saw in the previous match, it was a brick wall. But when an Avra is blown up, it can't be a brick wall.
Indeed. So take a quick look at the Boy to Firefly, by the way, in terms of kills and losses. Actually,
Wow.
go to losses for a second.
Yep.
You will see the Boy to Cromwell and the Boy to Firefly, between them, how many points is that? What's easily got to be at least 500, 600 points pretty easily.
Yeah, that's definitely over, like 500 points roughly. And yeah, he just used both of those Boiter units in just perfection. Because when that Firefly and Renat Cromwell come together in a couple, they are unstoppable when you use them correctly. That was just great use of the Boiter units.
Indeed. So it is now 1-1 for the finals here. So we're going to be going into our final map, which at the moment does escape me. But folks, come on back for Game 3. Once again, another little bit of a black moment, and then we'll be right back in more glorious action between the 15th Scotch and the 12th SS Panzer. So we'll see you folks in just a second. And we're back, folks. So it is Game 3 between Fussel and Babblegun, a good Deutscher boy and a Sovietische opponent. Definitely facing off in a battle royale that spanned 2 maps already. It's gone back and forth. Each player's got 1-1. Now this map 3, Bois de l'Amour.
Bless you.
I'm pretty sure that's how we say it. If I'm not French, though, again,
I'm not
expect
French
I'm
either,
Deutsch.
so I cannot criticize.
But you are Canadian, so you're halfway there.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. But some people don't consider Quebec.
That's true.
French,
Well, no
proper
Quebecois. You're right. You're right.
Yep.
So I don't have a lot of experience with this map. So tell me all about it. You had a perfect name for it before. What did you call it?
This is 101st Airborne Territory because, as you can see in that top-hand side, it is absolute pandemonium as you got a lot of forests. Now, neither sides are really playing crazy CQC. I don't really have flamethrowers to take advantage of. Maybe they brought flamethrowers in their deck to take advantage of its northern sector, but it's really going to come down to who can do good infantry play. I think an autocannons from Bubblegun will help him out a lot if he decides to attack up top, because I've seen a few times where players use fire support vehicles effectively in its forestry engagement, and the rest of the map is very sparse with bow cards all over the place and not too many areas for long open ground engagement, so it's going to be a little bit harder to take advantage of that Firefly Cromwell combo.
Now, I do have to point out something. We are going to see a little bit of indirect fire coming out of the initial Babel guns, like his opening roster. First of all, we have the autocannon with that P2, so I'm happy myself to see that back.
Got little Luke's.
I was going to say as well, we're going to see an SD-250. So that half track with the mortar, where has that been this entire matchup so far?
Well, I guess I don't really like bringing up at 250/7 in my Trophus Aztecs because it doesn't have much ammunition, and I don't like bringing up resupply stuff during a phase. But in this map, it's going to do damn good because it has a lot of closer range engagements, a lot of forests to hide behind. And I've thought he's going to use it in the top hand forest, but it seems like he's going to be using it down below for indirect fire support. You also got to realize Fussel can bring in 2-inch mortars. They're terrible. So Bubblegun pretty much has artillery advantage during a phase of just one of the more subpar artillery units the Axes can bring up.
More than fair. Now, I do want to point out we are going to see a couple of Honey Stewarts. I think, are they both on the northernmost? No, we have one in the north, and I think one down on the south. Yes. So we have light tanks. So we're not going to see the AVRE.
No, that's an interesting choice. I'm thinking the Avra would have been a good choice in that forest engagement, but he's just going to be sticking with a lot of infantry and honey, and a lot of infantry.
He's looking for Winnie the Pooh, it looks like. At the same time, Babblegun is not running either the Boy to Cromwell or the Boy to Firefly. Do you think that's a mistake?
No, I think that's a pretty good decision because you can't take advantage of their range, and both of those tanks really need to be at max range to get the full benefit, because you don't want to get shot at by a 6-pounder by risking that 1,000-meter engagement distance.
That's fair. That is definitely fair. Now, one thing that concerns me a little bit already is that Babblegun is pulling his AT guns. Where's he going to be pulling that right there? Okay, so AT gun on the Kubelwagen to the north. A strange kind of position. Would it not be better, perhaps, just to run infantry-based AT as opposed to putting in that valuable AT gun?
No, the Pack 38 is only like 55 points, so it's rather cheap. And as you can see in that kind of middle area, you do have some good fire lines. It's not a lot of angles that you get, but you can cover those roads, which is more than enough.
I think we're going to get some action in this second, massing like crazy for the Scots. And I'm surprised this Honey Stewart's not already getting some engagement coming on out here just yet. That's strange.
They're shooting at the 50 mil, and that's going to force the Honey Stewart to retreat. And I'm hoping Mr. Fussel starts spreading out his infantry soon, because I really want to try to keep him in such a clump.
Well, one thing he should be very happy about is that mortar half-track is on the absolute wrong side. Had it been up to the north, he would have had some very, very devastating barrages.
Yeah, I still think down south, there's still a rather clumped-up force. Not as juicy, I will admit, but still enough to give some fire support as the Panda Grenadiers take fire. The 5-7... Oh!
Forget that mortar half-track.
Oh, if he just kept a little bit to the north, behind the tree line, things are gonna gone much differently.
I was going to say, a bit of a misplay there.
Yeah, that was definitely a misplay.
Germans, in the meantime, moving very conservatively in the north, really just looking to put a lot more interaction down here to the southern side. I don't think it's going to go particularly well for them, though. That 6-pounder is going to probably take out that 222 as it comes, 223 as it comes down the road, and that guy is fairly vetted up as well. So 3, 2, 1, firecracker.
Ka-ching.
Exactly.
And yeah, it seems like Fussel's... Well, he still has the autocannon to deal with. The Honey Stewart could probably kill it, and there's also the AT gun, but it's looking pretty good for Fussel down below. And I'd say up top too, but he just has the numbers advantage.
Indeed. And even though those Bren groups are not maybe quite the same fighting peer that you'd expect to see from, against a P-Grunt squad or some things like that, you said numbers overall. So 2-1, 3-1, that kind of attacking advantage is going to go definitely in the Brit side.
Because, like I said before, you can get 3.5 Bren groups for 1 Panzer Grenadier. So they definitely pay themselves off if you get them in huge numbers. Because if you get
That's
enough
true.
pea shooters together, they become a peanut shooter.
Is that how that works? Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works. And if you get more peanut shooters, you get a coconut shooter.
Ah.
Yeah, that's
Someone's playing
British machine.
DK64.
It's British machine gun logic.
Ah, okay. I
Yeah.
hadn't quite heard that one before.
I haven't heard of it either till just now.
Ah, fair enough. Okay, Spitfire in the meantime, making a gun run at that
Yep.
Pack 38 in the north. He's going to pin him on down. And with the addition of more British pea shooters, we're going to see these pea grants probably get shoved on back. It is 54 to 46, a +1 in favor of the Allies. And I have to say, I've been kind of disappointed with Babelgun's reinforcement strategy. It seems so inconsistent.
Yeah, also at the same time, you don't have a huge amount of points. 70 points is pretty weak. The only division that has lower point income is the 3rd Armoured. I think losing
True.
that mortar has really hindered him, because you can only get those mortars impacted run during A phase, and just looking at clump down below, that mortar would have had an absolute blast.
I will
knocking
take a
out the
look in just a
6-pounder.
second. That Pack 38 has got himself... Oh, he's pinned
Oh.
down. That's unfortunate right there.
Yeah.
P2 in the meantime, taking fire, going to be forced back. Yeah, taking a quick look down there to the south. Yes, that was... I mean, it's fantastic now. It was just screaming indirect fire. Before, though, I mean, geez, up into the northern side, we had, what, 5 squads, 6 squads?
Yeah.
P2 goes down, Pack 38 goes down, and the entire part of the German position to the north is almost open. We have one
We got
squad
another
of
P2
infantry.
being brought up, which is really interesting. That shows that Bubblegum has definitely built this deck for this map, because we're going to get 2 P2 coverage in A phase. So I'm thinking that he probably doesn't even have a Firefly in his deck, but that's just me hypothetical.
Theory crafting.
Yeah, Fairy crafting.
Another Honey Stewart coming on out. In fact, it looks like it's going to be a mass of allied armor to the south. Well, I say mass, all 2 of them. Okay, so let's think about this again for a second. So
Okay.
if it's not going to be the Boita Firefly in Phase B, should we still expect to see tons of German tanks, or a different strategy now?
Well, he needs to use the tanks to really take advantage, but for the A phase, it's going to come down to PZ Grens and autocannons to try and secure that northern front, but I don't think that's going to be enough, because if there's no Fireflies, if there's no real AT guns to threaten Fussel in that northern flank, he's just going to out-infantry the Panzergrens and out-fire support him, and as you can see, he's just making stunning progress.
Now, I am surprised to see that these P-Grants are going after the infantry as opposed to pelting that command carrier with this, any kind of P4. Excuse me, Panzerfaust. Wait, aligning, never mind. Could this be the death blow?
Oh. Yeah, just
Tank
in
fist,
range.
there we go.
There we go.
Yep.
And down below we got the PZ Grens and 222s just hitting up the rifles, as the 6-pounders are not in position.
That's true, but I tell you what is in position, that Spitfire is
Yep.
just going to own the air right now. There's absolutely nothing coming out from Fussel with this.
And just like all the maps, well, in the first match as well, just great use of Spitfires. And pinning down those AT guns, that's going to be the major threat that Fussel has to deal with, so even just forcing them to fall back is going to do him wonders.
That, in the meantime, does take out that scout car to the south, 223, and for the life of me, I can't tell you the difference between a 222 and a 223 other than one number. But
Yep.
nevertheless, it's going to definitely open up this southern part of the German position yet again. I feel like if these 2 P-Grens could get pinned, suppressed, any kind of thing like that, then Babelgun may have absolutely nothing left.
Yeah, the P-Grens are holding the open ground, and 2 MG42s are rather scary to fight against. But if it was Honey Stewart's move up, the P-Grens are pretty much buggered. The only reason they're still alive is there's no fire support to stop him. Except for a Spitfire. Spitfire will stop him.
Indeed he will. Quick look up to the northern side. Another Spitfire making gun runs like crazy on the south. Ooh, command carrier going on down courtesy of that 250 with that autocannon.
Oh, Pia. Of course it misses. Of course. And the
Wait.
autocannons is really going to be the thing that allows Bubblegum to hopefully take back the north, because it's just the fire support they give and the close range on it does allow him to actually knock out Honey Sturch.
Now, I'm fascinated. Pack 38 is back in the fight. Command carrier is not going to get taken on out, so unlucky there. And in fact, that's the last thing that Pack 38 does.
And that Honey Stewart itself pretty much has free range as long as he doesn't rust the PZ Grens. But now would be a good time to rust the PZ Grens because they're pinned down.
Indeed.
And yeah, it seems like Fussel's really gonna make a breakthrough down below, and a much bigger breakthrough down below and up top. Because you see up top, he has to get pushed back. Fussel's rifles behind enemy lines.
I do want to say there is a shadow of an old friend coming up on the front lines, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw it. We have the AVRE is coming on in.
Oh, here we go.
And frankly, there is nothing on this map that can stop him.
Nope, nothing. Unless the Pantherfaust can get a side shot, he's gonna have a fun time in that top-end sector. And Avra does have 600-meter range. If you just take a look with your rangefinder, there's not really many engagement distances in that northern forest past 600, so he's gonna have a good time with his little trash-bin buddy.
Very true. All right, actually, throwing on the sightlines right about now. Yeah, I think you're about right. 600 meters sounds roughly accurate for that. Although we have some rifles behind enemy lines over here, behind these 250 half tracks, sitting outside the forest rather maliciously.
The one problem with Fussel, with his infantry, is that they lack proper anti-tank weaponry. So even though his rifles are in a fantastic position, they can't take advantage of it because you can't Lee Enfield a half-track to death.
And what a shame that is.
I know, the British sort of made like armor penetration, high explosive rounds, but you know, that's a bit of alt history.
Well, actually, one thing I'm very surprised to see is they don't put any boys anti-tank rifles in it consistently.
Yeah, they kind of phased them out later on in the war because a lot of tanks were pretty much impervious to anti-tank rifles. Even at the start of the war, they were one of the greatest. But
accurate. But at the same time, PTRS are still being used by the Soviets, I would say, out until the end of the war.
Yep.
So,
they were good at knocking out those light armored vehicles, of course, and in a position like this, they would have done great. But I think by that time, the doctrine was Piats and bazookas because they seemed more reliable. In terms of
Piats.
Yeah. There was
like
what am I saying? Piat,
jeez.
reliable. I don't think that goes together. But what goes together is a honey strut knocking out a 222 down below, and that's just opening up. It's a huge rune jar in Fussel's line.
I was going to say 59 to 41. We are going to see +2 coming out for Fussel, and he actually still has his opponent completely zeroed out.
And now we are in B phase now. I just want to note, so we do see that Panzers fall.
I was just about to make that comment. You know, great minds, right?
Great minds think alike, eh?
Very true. So that Stuart, though, by the time that P4 gets nice and close, that Stuart could theoretically probably even punish him for it.
Yeah, I mean, Panther 4s aren't exactly the most heavily armoured, and yeah, he's coming around that southern sector, so Fussel can get into a nice little flanking position, where he doesn't know the Panther 4 is being brought out, so he has no hindsight, but if he could flank it, that'd be a damn good kill.
Meanwhile, the Aviary fires his first shot and gets his first kill. Takes out a 9-strength squad of Pigrens.
Yep.
Which just pisses me off so much. In the meantime, though, P2 comes on forward gamely. I think this poor guy's going to go down pretty darn quickly, though, too.
Yeah, I think he has a bit of a better chance surviving against Avra's, like, Death Star cannon, but I wouldn't exactly count on it.
So bouncing. In the meantime, I'm going to go back down to the south. This Honey Stewart is in... Oh, my gosh. Look at this definitely position here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. This P4 has no idea.
I hope he holds fire till it gets towards a more southern area of road, because if you take a look at the rangefinder, there's just a brief gap in between the buildings.
Okay, Fussel doesn't know it, but neither does he.
No, he spotted it through that brief gap, and he's moving the Panther 4. But still, at this range, they can both pen each other. I mean, it's only 300, 200 meters, so it's anyone's game.
You know what? I'm only zooming in on this one, so forget what's happening the rest of the battlefield. I have to see this go down.
This is the tank duel.
The David and Goliath story.
Yep. Well,
rounds coming out.
Oh, there we go. Honey getting the shot. And that's going to reopen the southern flank here for Mr. Fussel. And
jeez.
He was just smart. He didn't move up. He waited for the Panther 4 to get in close. And got first shot, first kill.
Indeed. It looks like the AVRE did take out our poor P2 up in the northern side. That looks not heavy enough.
Yeah, not destined for this road.
He's going to ride eternal on the Fury Road.
Yeah. I mean, we looked the other way as he died.
That's true, but we did see a very good story down to the south.
Yeah.
61 to 39 now, +2 coming on out for Fussel over Bable, and now, geez,
those
command
planes.
cars are getting taken out like crazy. Spitfires are just doing too much work.
I'm I'm really cry-mate of just using Spitfires for fire support. I know interceptor planes are pretty good with just autocannons, but not this bloody good. I mean, those Spitfires interceptor runs are only 125 points, which is pretty damn cheap. That's cheaper than the Run 09s.
Now,
And
to
you
be
can
fair,
get a
though, they
lot of
are
them.
mounting 20 mil cannons on those, though.
Yeah, they got 2 20 mils and 2 50 cals, which
Yes.
it's only 6 HE power in total, but they're cheap, and you can just keep bringing them up over and over and over. And when there's no AA, and I just realized this, Bubblegun doesn't exactly have a good AA deck, and Fussel's has been doing a very good job the entirety of the tournament, or of the finals, taking advantage of that.
I'm happy you made a comment about that, because I was just going to make the same idea that,
Great
hey,
minds
we
think
haven't seen the
alike.
Verbal There's been no
Nope.
flak gun coming on out.
Nope. You don't
We have
really...
another P4 coming out to the northern side, though, looks like he's going to try to flank on that AVRE, but there is a Recce troop that's right in the area and will spot him almost perfectly.
Yup, but... Well, Matsy thinking couldn't ever kill Panzer IV. Definitely, in one shot, I don't know.
But remember, though, so that 30 HE, if memory serves, is the armor pen value something to the tune of, if it's HE, you multiply it basically by half, you cut it in half?
I think it's something along those lines, and it's also an invisible HP bar of every unit. I think it's just going to come down to seeing what goes on, but Panda 4 taking the long way round.
We should have seen it before. He was going to be going right through all of these areas, and it would have been asking for trouble.
Yep. And also, it's pretty safe for Bubblegun to bring vehicles in the forest, because rifles don't have Piats, and there's not many Piats to really worry about. And there's
Worth
no
noting in the
anti-tank
meantime,
weaponry.
P4 to the south, as well as that Honey Stewart went down to a P-Grand squad. It took 2 Fausts to do it.
Yep.
But he is dead. That's the important thing right there. And let's actually,
bit
Fussel, he's
revenge
got
there.
into that P4's coming in now. There he sees. So he sees the P4. The AVRE is going to turn, I imagine,
Yep.
any second. No.
No,
Shockingly enough, no.
he's trying to flank for Churchill again. That's right. Wait, can he actually go through that area? Yes, just barely. It's just a small gap. But they're going to be playing Ring Around the Rosies.
Yes, but you know what? Right now, I would say Fussel has the luxury of being able to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
oh, the
Actually, what's
rifle
going to
leader.
happen? Rifle leader,
Yep.
Piat in the
If it-
area.
If it can hit, that is. Can it hit? It gets in close to Panzer IV. Very cocky at Panzer IV.
Well, if it doesn't move, it could. Oh,
Nope,
jeez. Reloading
miss.
super quick.
And second
Another
shot.
round coming on off.
Oh, Avra's going to be turning around to return fire. And here we go.
600. Ooh, falling back, so
Oh!
barely misses, but he's still in range of that Piat.
Well,
The rifle lead coming on out, but again, the Piat, worth noting, even historically,
Yep.
was complete crap trying to hit moving targets.
yeah, wasn't the greatest British invention in the war. There we go.
Ooh,
Guess
and that's enough, though.
What were you saying about moving targets?
You know what? Not every game is historically accurate. And even a blind squirrel finds an acorn sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
AVRE, though, okay, so these 251s, I imagine, going to be having maybe some more P-Grants coming on out, so the AVRE might have numbered days.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
no.
it's just stern piles. They can
Yes.
force it to surrender, but the Avra's just going to trash spin it.
Indeed. Indeed.
And we're at the +2. Fussel's at such an advantage. I mean, Bubblegun hasn't even got a +1 in the entirety of the match, so I'm thinking Fussel's going to be taking the victory here.
Indeed, we are coming to the closing part of this particular matchup. It looks like we have 3 minutes to face C. I'm not even sure we're going to hit that.
Yep. No, I don't think. Maybe just barely, but yeah, it's going to be tight.
Spitfire's coming in again, the bugbears of this entire matchup.
Now, some Pioneers getting spotted, and there's the Avra firing.
And yes, even with a couple of P4s coming in, I don't think it's enough to salvage this position. Indeed, we actually still have a 6-pounder down here to the south. We have another Honey Stewart in kind of, let's say, a much more defensive position, but fantastic sightlines.
Mm-hmm.
And the Germans have nothing to kind of back this up now, do they?
Yeah, they're not really sending anything down below. I mean, that Panda 4's all the way in the back, not exactly doing anything, but I think Mr. Bubblegun's focus is all the way up top.
AVRE is going to look for that P4. P4 is going to try to take a shot.
Oh, they're
I'm
going
going
to
to bounce
them
them
back.
pretty easily. Yep. Hanging off the front armor there, and he's pulling himself out of range. That's a little strange.
I mean, the
knocked
Panda
out.
4 can actually penetrate the Avra at range, so
Yes.
I would definitely try to get it out.
But that 600-meter range, and to me, I hate to think so callously, but ooh, furball up in the air.
There we
I hate things so callously, but the aviary is still too incredible.
Yeah, it's killed a 2-5 run that tried to flank it, and the Panda 4 now forced to retreat, but there
And
we
yet
go.
Babblegun calls it
Bubblegum
on
surrender.
out. So wow, major victory in
Once
18
again.
minutes and 22 seconds. We are going to see the win and the
Mm-hmm.
tournament by a score of 2-1.
Should we explain what the prizes are?
I did not. How about you take that away?
Okay, so first place gets 90 days of ESL Premium and a Steel Division mousepad. It's a rather nice mousepad. And second place, which will be Bubblegum, will be taking home 60 days of ESL Premium. And third
Indeed.
place
So
will be 30.
Of course, I'm sorry,
Yep.
cut you off on the last time.
Yep.
I looked away for 1 second and I lost focus.
No problem.
So folks, yes, this was the initial tournament for this entire game, and I don't know about you, it's actually pretty fantastic to even be a part of it.
Yeah, it's great fun.
We are looking to make this a much more complete experience next time.
Mm-hmm.
And while I know we haven't gone to the kind of tail of the tape at the end of the game here, it's been fantastic casting this as always with Rangru. Honestly, I love casting at this point with this big guy, you know?
Thank you very much. And I just want to take a look at the KD real fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know how last match Bubblegum got a lot of kills and Fussel didn't? Vice
Yes.
versa. It's very one-sided for Fussel, and I think it's just because he did good plays in the forest. And
Well, and that's the thing I was going to make a comment about, is I'm kind of wondering, first off, if you look at the kills, it's pretty much armor or it's AT guns. Other than that, losses-wise, well, barely anything on that area.
Yeah.
But I was going to say...
I'm also just theory crafting as well. I think picking the 15th Scotch, we're saying this after all the matches ended,
Of course.
was a better choice because they are a much more well-rounded faction because they pretty much have decent everything, while Trophus S does like our air superiority, and it did bite him in the arse throughout the entirety of the tourney or the finals.
But okay, but at the same time, looking even at my end, I was looking at Babblegun's decks, and like we mentioned at the close of this last game,
Yep.
in my mind, I kind of feel like he probably lost it when he did not bring in any AA until the 12th hour, the 13th hour.
Yeah, it's...
So.
And just losing, even just Spitfires, they're not the greatest at killing, but just having that constant flying threat, stunning up units is enough to stop you from being able to make any major plays.
Well, that's right, there's lots of DACA in the air. When there's a lot of DACA in the air, it's going to be raining lead.
Yep, exactly. But just great matches. We really saw some fantastic micro and some good plays from both sides. And in Circumvent, we had a little bit of everything, and I do love seeing a little bit of everything.
Exactly. Just like a Buddhist going up for a hot dog.
I haven't heard that one before, but I might have to use that sometime.
Well, he loves one with everything. Anyway, folks, for my part, I think I might be casting a couple other games of the tournament, maybe as the week goes forward, just so you can get a better idea of all the great players and plays that we saw during today.
Definitely some other good matches involved.
Exactly. But hopefully, so this is Con Ulrich, though.
And I'm Rangru.
And I guess we'll see you guys all soon. So thanks so much for joining us for this 3-fer, and we'll see you guys pretty darn soon. Take it easy.
Take it easy.